Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question. Bob saying,
Yes, Bob.
I've growing up with my sister. It was a cat and mouse uh, battle, and in recent decades, it's like I know my job is to just love her. And recently, she's expressing memories that I suspect are not uh, are erroneous memories. And I would like to know how I can uh, uh, retain my kindness and love for her and let her say what she has to say.
What does it matter, Bob? What does it matter what her memories are? After so many years, you should be used to it by now. Just let her be. Understand, you can't fix that. She has to fix that. She has to find somebody who's strong enough to help her to get through this. A teacher, like I found Rudy when I was younger, like you found me in Denton, Texas. And this, you have to find somebody who can help you. And I think just let her be, Bob. Let it bounce off you. What does it matter? After all these years of listening to her and, telling you all these stories, whatever she says to you, you should kind of be used to it already and understand that there's nothing you can do except just love her unconditionally, exactly as she is and the way she is. And maybe that kind of unconditional love will spark something in her to do something about herself. Or, there's always another incarnation down the road. So that's what I suggest. Love her unconditionally. Don't let what she says about you or any of her memories get under your skin. Get strong enough to allow them to just bounce off you. It doesn't matter. And it shouldn't matter anyway. Any of these things happened 50 years ago. So it shouldn't have absolutely matter one iota about your life today. And just love her. Enjoy whatever her little craziness is instead of allowing it to annoy you. Now, in order to do what I'm talking about, you got to be very strong inside so that these things don't get to you. That's what I suggest, Paul. I suggest don't try and fix her. Don't lecture her on the right way to talk. Don't, just love her unconditionally and even find some humor in it, especially if these are erroneous memories and there got to be something funny about them, you know? I mean, that's what I would suggest. I hope it makes sense to you. And I honestly hope you do it, Bob. Don't let your sister's problems interfere with your spiritual life. In fact, don't let anybody's problems interfere with your spiritual life. Anybody. Sisters, brothers, uncles, aunts, children, parents, the craziness in the world, the politics, the economics in the world. Let it all bounce off you and just understand what your purpose is and what really you have to do about yourself. And honestly, not only for Bob, but for all of us, it gives us the capacity to truly love life unconditionally. We don't have to make life into something we think it's supposed to be. First of all, it's never going to happen, and we're always going to be disappointed. So it's what it is. We're strong enough to be able to let it be. And we don't have to become the Baptists of Kundalini Yoga, having to convert the world to do this double breathing exercise. I mean, I've been doing this a really long time, and right now there are what, 16 people sitting here, and this is a long time. A lot of wisdom comes in these classes, a lot of really, good ways of living that enable us to truly connect with God. And there's 16 people here. So it's ridiculous almost. But what am I going to do? It's not going to interfere with what I have to do to be a child of God, to have a spiritual life. So that's what I suggest, Bob.
Thank you, Stuart. That's great.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question? I mean, the wonderment about life is that it always sets up roadblocks for us. It always has obstructions. It always has tests, trials. You know, how deep is your commitment to have a spiritual life, or are you going to let all this nonsense interfere with it? And some of the stuff is very painful, things that happen in life. But does it interfere? I don't want to promote this book I've written, but I should. It's really a good book. At the beginning, I talk about, what took place when I was 16 years old, in which, my father died when I was 16 years old. And I went to the hospital for, a couple of weeks, and he was in this deep coma. Didn't know myself, my mother, my sister. And, this could have been the most paralyzing event of my life. It turned out that it was an event that saved my life. And I'll tell you how. Something in me always knew there was a higher power, a higher force in me. Even when I was 8 years old, I knew this. And I'll never forget going into my father's room, maybe a couple of hours before he passed on. And he was lying in bed in a state of stillness I had never seen in any human being before. It was almost like a state of enlightenment. I looked into his eyes, I could see 100 million miles. And I asked him, "Do you know me?" And he took my hand and he shook his head, yes. And then I got up, I must have had to go to the bathroom or something to leave the room, bumped into his nurse. And God bless this woman, I don't know where she is today or even if she's alive today. But what she told me completely transformed my life. She said to me, in her experience, just before people pass on, they go into a state of total serenity. It's like they've let go of everything in the world. And she told me this, and my God, why did my father have to wait 49 years to get this state of serenity, literally an hour before he died? Why couldn't he have found it in his lifetime? And it initiated a search in me. And I knew that I was incapable, even at 16, of doing this for myself. It initiated a search in me to find somebody in the world who could teach me how to do this. It was the beginnings of my search for Rudy. It took 9 very painful years of a lot of crap that I went through until I met him. So what could have permanently, destroyed me. I mean, this is what happens. You're 16 and your father dies, People get, really screwed up. It initiated a search in me to find Rudy. I didn't know his name was Rudy, but it initiated that search. It really gave me my life. And I discovered that my father was my first teacher on his deathbed. So what I'm saying is it depends on how you use everything and the underlying need a human being has to have a spiritual life. Then there's nothing in the world that will obstruct it. Everything will become a reason to grow, to find a path, to find a teacher, to find your way to get to God. And instead of allowing it to emotionally and mentally cripple us, it becomes a springboard to a completely new life. And your sisters talk, it brought up this subject, Paul, because basically it's the same kind of thing. Do you get swallowed up in it, or do you use it as a reason to go deeper into yourself, to find God? Your need to find God will overcome any obstacle you have in your life. And there'll be nothing to complain about. You'll be able to use anything that happens to you, from the most joyous to the most depressive. You can use it as a way to get closer to God, if that's what your need is. If your need isn't that, then it can cripple you and emotionally, mentally destroy you as a person. Does anyone else have a question?
I
Yes,
would like to ask you, Stuart. Thank you. It's exactly what I needed to hear today. Stefan is in terrible pain, my dear friend, and I've been working to try to make it better for him. And I realized sitting by myself, and even more deeply now, that I can't do anything for him but love him. And
Chris is his karma. He has to overcome this. You can
yeah,
make him dinner, make him lunch,
yeah, I've been doing that.
and
Yeah,
be just bring him love. And then he has to go through this and overcome it.
yes,
It's his need to get to God that will help him get through this. I mean, I
yeah,
love him very dearly. He's a dear person to me, Chris.
I
But I
know.
also realize there's nothing I can do. I send him an invitation to every single one of my classes, Chris. He
Oh,
gets an invitation. I haven't seen him in, since a month or two or something.
yeah. Mhm.
But every class, I send him an invitation to come.
Thank you very much.
Now he has to, whatever he chooses, it's his life.
Yeah, thank
Just love him unconditionally, Chris.
I do.
And
Thank you so much, Stuart.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question they would like? I hope what I'm talked about today is clear. I hope it really registers deeply inside all of you. It's really an important factor because there isn't anybody sitting here who's not going to be obstructed by something in life. Test it. Is your need real?
Mhm.
Or is it something you're dilly-dallying within your head and, I'll go, I won't go, I can miss this, I can miss that. Is it real? And not just about what I teach, it's about everything you do, you know? Does anyone else have a question? And honestly, just I will never. If that woman walked past me on the street, I wouldn't know her. but she was sent to me. She was an angel of God who was sent to me. And I thank God at 16 years old, it registered in, so usually nothing registers in a 16-year-old. Nothing, except going out with the boys or the girls or, whatever, And those words were like a miracle in my life. And God bless her, whoever she is, wherever she is. She was an angel who was sent to me. And I think we all have angels like that sent to us. We just have to be ready to recognize it and then do something about it. I mean, when I was a kid, I was going to wanted to be a doctor or this. I had goals to get scholarships to college, and I was a pretty good basketball player when I was a kid, And all of that was in my, and I suddenly said, no, you have to find, I don't care what it takes, you have to find somebody who can teach you how to get to God, not the last 15 minutes of your life. And then all the rest of it took place, the money, the jobs, the relationships, all of it. It all manifested, what my karma was and what I had to do with my life while on the earth. And it still manifests every day. Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all. And there will be meditation on Sunday, same time, same Zoom. We'll have meditation on Sunday. Kind of getting
Thank
tired
you.
of Zoom, but that's all I got. That's all we have, and it's working. And I see it changing me and people. And God bless you all. Thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Thank
Stuart.
you. God bless you too. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.